Hello, you gorgeous and sexy creature. Welcome to Practice Intimacy. This is the place to be to learn all about love, sex, and how to have the best relationships you possibly can. What I want to talk about today is a practice that I learned from Layla Martin. She's a tantrika. You can find her on YouTube. Her stuff is awesome. Definitely check her out. I learned this from going through her Vita program, and I think it is such a wonderful practice for rewriting your narrative around sexuality. So many of us, we take in messages from culture, from our families, from religion, from school, from our peers. We take in messages about sexuality that are often fear-based, shame-filled, sometimes just inaccurate, not true, but those make it in to become part of our thoughts about sex, part of our story about sex. And even if you think of yourself as an incredibly sex-positive person, I can almost guarantee that you've got some hidden sexual shame in there somewhere. The reason I can guarantee that is because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it with my clients. I've witnessed it with myself. I don't think that it's possible to completely escape sexual shame in the culture that most people are growing up in. In Western worlds, there's a lot of sexual shame. And unfortunately, with colonization, Western thinking has touched most of the world at this point. And so, how do you undo it so that your sex life can be empowered, lively, completely about what you want and your truth, rather than stories that you've heard from other people that don't actually match your experience of your sexuality? So this practice is one that I would suggest doing out loud. You could write it down. That's totally welcome and would be a wonderful way to do this practice. But if you feel comfortable, eventually saying it out loud to yourself. You could do this a couple of times. You could do it one time and record it and then listen to it a few times. That is going to be the best way to really start integrating the new narrative. So taking in messages, hearing it, letting your whole body resonate with this new message rather than just trying to tell yourself a new story, because you've thought about this before, I'm sure. You've thought about the sex negative messages that you've heard. You've thought about some sex positive messages that you have learned and really want to embody. But speaking them, hearing them, that's how you're going to get to the place where you embody these new narratives. So what this would look like is you are either going to imagine yourself as the wise, loving, sex-positive person that you are today, speaking to your younger self, the one who's just beginning to learn about sex and is curious about sex and is maybe getting some messages that are either scary or shame-filled. You're going to speak to that little one and tell them all the things that you wish they would have learned at that age. If you struggle with this, if you're like, I don't know enough sex positive thinking that I could communicate this to my little one, then imagine your community. Imagine either a loving community of your chosen family, really close friends or mentors that you've had that have taught you things about sexuality. Just picture those people in a loving community around you and say what they might say. Tell your little self what those people, those wise sex guru, well, I was about to say guru, and it's true, like they're your teachers, but we're just gonna call them sexual teachers. The sexual teachers in your life, what might they say to that little one? What does that little one really need to hear? So here's how it might sound. If I was gonna say this to my little self, Jami Lynn, sex is a gift. It is a gift from your body to be able to experience yourself turned on, excited, full of sensation, full of pleasure and bliss and life force. It's an opportunity for you to explore what you really like and to discover ways to know your boundaries, really significantly know your boundaries, and speak up for your needs. Sex is going to be a way where you get to feel beautiful and sometimes dominant, sometimes submissive, sometimes playful, sometimes really seductive. Sex is a place where you're going to get to connect with other people so deeply that it feels like your heart is breaking open. Sex is going to be a place where you get to feel in connection with nature, in connection with the different systems that keep life going. Not only your internal system of that interest in sex, the excitement, your body going, ooh, I want this, but also the connection to all of life that continues itself through sex. Sex is going to be a place where you get to honor your body, listen deeply to what your needs are, and communicate them with others. Sex is a place where you're going to get to make love to yourself and know your worth and value, and deeply, deeply hold yourself with kindness and care and attention, and also get to do that for other people. Sex is a place where you're going to get to express yourself in wild ways, in ways that maybe you'll never get to in any other space, where you get to be loud and crazy and not make sense and just express in whatever is truest for you. Sex is going to be one of the ways in which you connect with divinity, your experience of source, your experience of God. You're going to be able to make such a deep connection to that space inside of you, your spirit, by using sexual energy, by using connection to other people. Is there anything else I would say to this little one? Yes, there is. Some people are really scared of sex, and that's okay, that's their journey, but you do not need to be scared. You are so strong, and you are going to be courageous, and you are going to learn how to speak up for yourself and really communicate what matters to you. You are empowered to make decisions about what's right for your body. And you get to say those things to other people, and you get to protect yourself by being really, really clear about what you need. And if ever somebody does not listen to you, that is not about you, that is about them. And there are people in this world who will love you through that experience, and you will make it. I promise you will make it. It will be okay. And yes, there are things about sex that can hurt you. There are ways in which you are going to need to protect yourself. Being really careful about, how am I going to love my body and take care of my body by preventing miscommunications that lead to me or the other person getting hurt? How am I going to protect myself with physical barriers so that I don't get STIs and STDs or unwanted pregnancy? You're going to get to decide your boundaries around who gets to have sex with you. Because it's a fun and wonderful process, but you're not going to want to do it with everyone. And you get to decide that. And none of this needs to be scary. All of this you can do. I believe in you. You have so much power in this. In this moment, that's all I would say to my little one. I'm sure that there's more. I could probably go on for a while because there's so many things that I think are important for you to hear, for my younger self, for your children if you choose to have them, my children if I choose to have them, young people who speak to you eventually as they're just beginning to discover sex, and even adults who speak to you as they're discovering their sexuality. Like everyone needs to hear these messages about self-love and empowerment, compassion towards others, being able to know what you want and live from that space so that you can experience the bliss and the enjoyment and the true pleasure that is possible in sexuality. I hope that you have an opportunity to do this practice. Tell me how it goes. Please leave me comments. I love to hear what this is like for you. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel. If you know anyone who needs to hear these loving messages about sexuality, please send this to them. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.